Hello, this is Jamie Magridge. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. So let's get started. Okay, I used Campology. That's the only stamp set I used. And then to die cut these, I used Tasteful Label dies, this one, and out of a 2" by 12" piece of In Good Taste Designer Series paper, I cut out 5 of those. Okay, then I used this one from the Stitch Rectangles. The small, it's the one that's individual all by itself, and I cut 5 of those out of white. Okay. And this is that 2" by 12" piece of the In Good Taste, and this would be the piece I used to cut out the 5 stitch rectangles. Okay, then out of Evening Evergreen, I cut a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4" square, and then I cut 1/8 inch off of each end. So I have these 2 little strips I'm going to use to, and then I have a 4 1/8 by 4 1/8" square. I have a 1/2 inch piece of white to stamp my sentiment on. I have, from what was left from cutting out the rectangles, these edges, I have 2 of those that are 4 1/8" long. I have a 4" piece square of soft seafoam and a 4 1/4 by 11" piece of soft seafoam. And let's get started. And one of the punches, one of the label punches, and maybe I put it back. Yes. The Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. This one. Okay. So let's do our stamping first. First I'm going to take this one and this pine tree. The only inks I have is Evening Evergreen and Balmy Blue. Ink this up. I'm going to stamp one. I just want like from here over. So I'm going to stamp that right here. And I want it up a little bit. There's no right or wrong here, but okay, we'll go ahead and ink this up again. And this time I'm not inking this little tree here. So I've got a rag so I can wipe that off. Let's move this over so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to ink without that inking that little tree on the end. Okay, and I'm going to stamp this one a little bit higher. Okay, I'm going to ink the whole thing. I'm going to come down in front, and I'm going to stamp again. Okay, so that's my front piece. I'm going to put it aside for a minute. We're going to do the same thing to the entire strip of this. So I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to start over here. I'm going to ink it up. thing. And I'm going to go up a little bit, or down a little bit, either way. Stamp again. Ink it up. This time I don't want this little tree, so I'm going to wipe it off. Make it a little bit. It's not going to be a big deal, but I'm just using a microfiber towel because I want those to be closer together. Okay, I'm going to ink it again, the whole thing. This time I'm going to go up a little bit. One more time, I'm going to ink the whole thing. This time there. Okay, and then I'm going to, I need one more tree here on this end. And I think I just want the big trees. Let's wipe it off. Ink up just that part there. Okay, so I got the whole bottom half of that. Oh, and I just realized I forgot a piece of paper. I need a strip 1.5 inches wide of evening evergreen by 11. So hang on, let me cut that and I'll be right back. I've got that strip. It's going to need to be scored at 5.5 and 2 3/4 at each end. So let's continue stamping. Put this aside now for a minute. Now I'm going to bring in these little rectangles, and again I'm doing all this stamping in the evening evergreen. This so it don't ink all over me. And I'm going to do one of these. Ink it up. Figure out where I want it. You're not going to get the whole thing in. Just stamp part of it. Okay. Came out like that. Okay. Now we'll do the binoculars on one. Okay, same thing. You're not going to get the whole thing, so just stamp some of it. And that one I did, you know, a little bit cattywampus. Okay. And I've got the teapot and teacups, or tea coffee pot. It's definitely not a teacup. Awesome. Okay, then I got the tent. Do the tent on one. Figure out what part of it you want. Okay. Then I'm going to do the sentiment happy trails on one of them. Right in the middle. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to bring in this piece back. These can get put there. And I'm going to bring in the blending brush. Dab on some of the evening evergreen. And I'm going to do the bottom of this with this evening evergreen. I want it darker on the bottom edge. I'm only going up, you know, where the trees are. Okay. And I'm going to bring in balmy blue. I'm going to do the same thing on the top with the balmy blue. Get up, tap off a little bit. A little bit of this balmy blue on the top. Okay. We're done with the balmy blue ink. I just need to stamp the sentiment. Enjoy today on this little strip here. And we're done with all the stamping. Perfect. Okay. Now, those aside, let's go ahead and mount these up onto our tasteful labels. I thought it looked better with dimensionals, however, it made the card too bulky, so we're going to just use the wet glue. A little bit on the back, if I can get it to come out. Center it up on there. So it's going to look like that. Okay, so we got to do all 5 of these. Hey, Bit. Stay there. Good boy. Good boy. Stay there. He's got his cone on. He got fixed the day before yesterday. Definitely doesn't like that cone very much. One more. Okay. Put these aside. Bring in a pair of scissors here. Find them. There they are. Alright, I'm going to trim this so that it's about 1/4 inch from either side of the stamping. Okay, just so it's like that. And I'm going to bring in that punch. Put it in the slot. Push it in all the way in. Make sure it's straight. And punch. Turn it around. The same thing on this side. Put it all the way in. I don't think I trimmed it straight, so it makes it hard to get it in there straight. Come on. Ah, it's stuck. There we go. So there's that. We'll put that aside. Now we're going to adhere this to this piece here. Just using the wet glue. There's just going to be 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch, because it's just 1/8 of an inch larger. Okay. Put this aside. Let's bring in our trimmer here so we can do some scoring. Okay, so this we're going to score in half at 5.5. See, I'll turn it this way. So 5.5 is right here. Score that. And I'm scoring on the wrong side of it, but it's alright, we'll make it work. And I like to put it up in this corner here to get those corners all lined up nice. Give it a good little Okay. And this one, it's scored at 2 3/4. And the picture, there we go. 5 1/2. And then I just turned it around and did 2 3/4 again. Okay. So this gets folded in half, and then these get folded backwards. So it looks like that. Okay. So we're going to bring this piece in. First thing we're going to do is put some dimensionals on the back of this piece. And I'm really shedding hairs everywhere. Okay. Take these. Oh, I want to glue on those brown pieces first before I put it down. So I'm bringing these 2 brown strips. Where'd the other one go? I knocked that on the floor. Yep. So I'm going to just put a little bit of glue right along the edge. Like that. Just take this little piece. Center it up there, top to bottom. A little bit of glue on there. Okay. And the same thing on this one. You could do the glue on here if you want instead. That works too, just along this one edge. Works as well, either way. Okay, you just want those to be about the same size out. Okay, now I'm going to put this aside for a minute because we want to put the inside piece in first. Make sure it's right side up. We're going to take this piece, and you want so the center fold is opposite of the fold of the card. Okay, we're going to put some glue on this piece here. I found it looked best about here, maybe a 3/4 of an inch from the top. I'm going to set that right along the edge. I'll just bring it in just the tiniest little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Just the tiniest little bit from the edge. Okay. Put glue on this side. Do the same thing. I want it to be fairly flat, so because I want it to fold close. So if I push this down flat, I should be able to get that to line up there. Okay, so there's that part. So now we can close this part up. Sticking out the end a little bit, but it's alright. Now we're going to bring this piece back in, take those backs off. I'm going to center this up on the front of this card. Okay, now we're going to bring in these little green pieces that we cut off of that 4 1/4 inch piece one. One of them will be the right length. The other one you'll have to snip a tiny bit off so that it's the right length. And we're going to put those here next to this brown strip, but you're going to leave a little tiny bit of a green there too, so it's like just a little bit of added there. A little bit of glue on this one. Same thing on this side. Okay, looks pretty good. Bring in our sentiment. And we need some small dimensionals for this. We put two, stack two on top of each other on this end, because that's going to hang off of the this piece. And then we're going to put regular dimensionals, or we could probably use regular ones, one of each. So let me show you what I mean. There's two dimensionals here and a single dimensional here, because these are going to sit on top of this, and these are going to sit here. This is already raised on dimensional. So we'll put that about here, I guess. Okay, now we're going to bring these in. Pick which one you're going to want on your front. I'll go ahead and do the tent so it makes a little bit of sense. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of it. Just need a couple. And that's going to go about here. Okay, we're going to open it up. We're going to add these other ones. Let's see. I guess it doesn't really matter which ones go where. And you just want to make sure on these two outside ones you can put glue on all of it. And these inside ones, you only want to put glue here in the center, because otherwise it'll glue it closed. Okay. Glue on there, center that up on there. Now you could stagger these, have them go like this, but I just kind of liked it all the same. So just in the center on this one, center it up in that section there. A little bit of glue here. That noise you're hearing is my cat trying to clean himself, but the cone won't let him. So he's cleaning the cone. The cone of... That's what it's for. Alright, so there's that part. Now to finish it off, where did I put them? There they are. I brought in the bumblebee trinkets. Come on, open. And some glue dots. And I put 3 bumblebee trinkets on here. Because when you think of camping, there's always bugs. These could be mosquitoes too. They're just cute. Okay, so I put one of them here on the end of the sentiment. I put one over here, and I put another one down here. Put one facing that way. Oh, this one didn't collect the dot. Let's try that again. Wondered why it was moving still. There you go. There's the card we just made together. Simple little fun fold. Here's the one I did previous. If you wanted, you could do that ink blending on the inside too. I just chose to do it on the front. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.